Okay, here's a view from this side of the garden. As you can see, the white board there is boarding up the door for the chickens to come into this garden, and it's open on the other side for them to be able to go onto the other garden. So when next year, after they've used the other garden and got it all cleaned up for us and fertilized, we'll shut that door and we'll open this door and they'll come into this side, and you rotate them like that every year, and it really is a wonderful system. I'm really glad the gal told me about it. Okay, so I guess while I'm here I'll show you a couple other things. You see the white roof we put on the coop? That's not the actual roof. We put that over on top of the actual roof of the coop. It got so hot in that coop that this extra little covering, we put some 2x4s over the actual roof, and then we put that white board, wafer board, or I don't know what that is, plastic or vinyl board, over it, and it dropped the temperature in the coop dramatically. It creates about a 3-inch insulation, barrier where air can travel through the wood roof and the vinyl, and plus the white vinyl reflects or deflects the sun, or reflects the sun, and so that was a really great addition. And here's the top of my PVC frame tarp over the coop. That was pretty cheap to make. Okay, now I'm going to take you around to the other side of the coop. Okay, so here is the other side of the coop. You can see the garden. And the coop is a very simple plan. It's 4x8, so we made it out of the materials as easily as we could. 4x8 material, and basically it's got the opening around the bottom, and that's nice in the summer because it ventilates, and we close the bottom up. We put boards around it in the winter time so it keeps the whole place warm, but the top part is where we have the perches and the nesting boxes, and we just did not want a building you walk into and have to step around on a bunch of poop, and this is just a place for the chickens to go, and we've kind of rigged it up so we can access eggs very easily and clean it easily, and keeps the chickens nice and comfortable. The roof, as you can see, we added a overhang so that when we go to get eggs it's nice and dry, and if you can see on the front there, walk a little bit closer, there are 2 doors, and those are for the nesting boxes, and I'm going to go open those doors in a minute and show you how we access the nesting boxes. But before I do that, I'll show you that I have my brushes hanging on the front of the coop there, and those are good brushes to use for cleaning out the nesting boxes. The wire brush they're used for the grill is real nice because it's got that metal bar on the end that you can scrape off poop, and that works really good for cleaning the boxes out. So I'm going to open the doors and show you the boxes. Okay, so you can see here I've got a hook that holds the door open. You lift the door up, and there's 3 nesting boxes right here, and the boxes we made them so that you can pull them out and just dump the pine shavings is what I use. I got a big hole over here that I dump them into, and then I can brush them off with the wire brush there if I need to, or scrape them off, and I'd like to pull one of these out. I think I'll pull one out for you. You can see how it works. I'll just go ahead and pull this one out. So you see I pull this out, and then it's got a tray inside, and I just take this tray over here and I can dump it. Hate to waste all the pine shavings, but oh, the sacrifice is for YouTube. So then I'll take my brush and clean that out, that section out with the little plastic brush there, dust it out, and put my tray back in, and it keeps it all nice and clean in there. And then you can see we've got some eggs, and nothing like sticking your hand into a nesting box. It's got a bunch of poop in it, and so I like my nesting boxes clean. And if you put some perches back here, which we did, there's a couple of sets of perches, you can see them. The birds all perch there at night instead of in the nesting boxes, and the droppings all drop down to the ground below, also helping to keep your nesting boxes clean. Down here below, we kind of developed this bird or this chicken coop to be like a bird cage. If you pull that 2x4 down there on the front off, you lift it up, you can see a lip of a metal tray, and those are two great big sheet metal HVAC, what is that stuff called? Just the cheapy metal they make ductwork out of. And we slid them in there. You can slide them out. We lift the edges of the coop up and we slide them out and take them over and scrape them off and hose them off and slide them right back in there like a giant bird cage. And it keeps the floor nice and clean. And then we take the stuff we scraped off and put it into the garden. So that works really nice. See anything else? Well, you got some venting on the front of the coop, and that's very important. And then there's our plug for our light. We put a heat lamp in the center of the coop in the winter, and of course have it on a timer so it keeps them nice and warm in the winter time. So this design has worked really good for us. And there's the back of the feeder. Like I said, you can take this lid off that we made for it here, and you can dump a whole bag of food into it, not have to worry about feeding your chickens for a couple of weeks. So, okay, one last thing I'd like to point out is our use of these concrete pads. We got these, like I said, my husband is into HVAC, so when they replace air conditioners, they take the pads, and they're usually 3 foot by 3 foot. Some of them are a little smaller, and so we buy these and get them pretty cheap, and they make a nice covering. I think pay about the same price as you do for like some of the little 12 by 12 blocks, and you might be able to call your local HVAC company and see if you can buy theirs if they have extras. And they're nice and heavy, and I've created a pathway beside the garden to walk up to the garden. I put one in the garden to run my tiller across to be able to till between my rows when I get my rows in. But those are really nice, and unfortunately they started using the plastic things under the air conditionings now instead of the concrete, and I think they might become difficult to find in the future. But those were really nice. We use them for several things. I've made a couple little step places to get around with those, and they've been real handy to have. Okay, well, this should conclude my chicken yard garden system. I hope it was helpful to you in some way and inspires you to do your own thing, and have a great day.